What is going on, boys? 302 Birds are back on Facebook. Make sure you watch your mouth on the groups because that's how we got banned. But we're happy to be back on Facebook. We got a jam-packed show tonight. We got a fellow Salesian gentleman, Tim Furlong. So we appreciate you being on the show. Tim, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Good to be here representing NBC 10 and Salesiana. Love it.
Awesome. So let's start off with a question. So Tim, you were at the Super Bowl this year, right? You got to interview Troy Rader, who's also a fellow Salesian. How was that? Like,
Troy is awesome. Troy's like the greatest guy. He's not only a really good football player, he's a really good dude. And I got to know him a little bit because of the story that of this little boy who's beat cancer twice. And so Troy and I talked about that before the Super Bowl. And then when I was out there, we were texting back and forth. And I said, hey, I'll come out to training camp for media day if you make time for us. And Troy's like, oh, my God, come on out, man. So I went out there and we had him live on Channel 10. And he was like so gracious with his time, but so eager to talk with me about Sally's. It was awesome. So off the air, before and after we were actually on TV, like, we're talking about the direction of intention. We're talking about, it was just great. It was so cool. And then of course you might've seen the story just last week. Sally's brought Troy back. They brought me back. And then they brought this little boy, Danny Feltwell, back, and they gave him a full scholarship to go to Sally's.
Wow.
So he's in seventh grade now. And he's the first class of 2027 student that's been accepted, and they gave him a full scholarship to help his dad's a single parent. His dad works his butt off to just literally to help his kid, and so they deserve it. It was a really good Sally's moment. If you didn't see it, you got to go back and watch the story on Channel 10's website or app, because it's like, as a Sally's guy, and they're now a Nike school. Sally's is a Nike school, so they gave out these like sick Brotherhood T-shirts. And I'm like, oh, those are awesome. And then the athletic director threw one at me. I'm like, yeah, that made my day. All the good stuff was capped off by getting free swag. So it was awesome.
Hey, we got to love Sally's for that. Getting free swag being alumni.
Nike swag.
Tom, did you have something you wanted to say?
Yeah. So just to transition to it a little bit different. So we didn't get to do the podcast when the Super Bowl happened, but I know just from following along with you, you got to actually be there. You as a you're a diehard Eagles fan too. So how cool of a moment was that? Like to be, and you got to go down to the field. Like how cool was all that for you?
When the Eagles won, is that what you're asking?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, when the Eagles won, well, it's good and bad. It's so funny because I've been to 4 Super Bowls, and it's really cool. But what they do is after like a certain point in the game, they take the home team media and the away team media. And again, if it's a blowout, they only take that one team's media, but it was a close game. So they had us all in this tunnel. So for the end of the Super Bowl, I wanted to be watching it like in the stadium, but they had us in the tunnel, and they have these little TVs up, like old fashioned TVs, not flat screens, like nothing. They're like up against the wall, which is ridiculous because it's like a new stadium. And they're up against the wall, and it was like me and like Visika Hema and Chris Berman from ESPN was there. All the players' families did not see the end of the game. We're all in the tunnel watching on these little TVs that were like delayed by like 10 seconds. So you hear, and then we're like, I think the Eagles won. I think. And then the press guy's like, yeah, the Eagles just won the Super Bowl. I'm like, well, that was sort of anticlimactic. But then they run us out on the field, and the confetti's flying, which I like stuffed my pockets. We're doing like, at that point, like, everybody's in such a good mood. Chris Long is like the greatest guy ever, and he's hugging us all. Nelson Aguilar, I know he busts his chops a lot, but Nelson Aguilar was the nicest guy of all time. And his mom was giving us hugs, and it was like, It was just great. It was an awesome experience. Minnesota would not have been my first choice for where the Eagles would win a Super Bowl, but it was an awesome experience, and it was good. I work with like really great people, and like Tracy Davidson was there, and all these people that I've been watching for years in addition to working with, and we just had a blast. It was a lot of work that Super Bowls, they're a ton of work for us because whenever TV stations send you somewhere, they want to squeeze every ounce out of you. So like a day on the road in LA for the Super Bowl was like harder than 3 days at home. Like at home, it's like start at the same time, end at the same time. Out there, it was like 8 a.m. to midnight, pretty much every day. Run, drive to Santa Monica, drive to Thousand Oaks, drive back to the stadium, all that stuff. So it was crazy, but super fun. I mean, like I trust me, I never complain about going to a Super Bowl. It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
So would you say that's your favorite memory as an Eagles fan, or is there anything that could possibly even top that?
No, that was it. I mean, I've been at like a lot of the NFC Championship games when they beat the Falcons and Michael Vick to go to the Jacksonville Super Bowl. I was in the stadium for the first preseason game when T.O. caught the first pass on the first play of the game. He caught a bomb from Donovan McNabb, and that was awesome. Like, that was cool. But like the Super Bowl was just off the chart. And again, like, I was there with like basically 25 coworkers, and of those 25, like 23 are like my best friends at the station. And Visek Ahema is the all-time, not only the nicest guy I've ever worked with, he's like the nicest guy ever. And like we're hugging and crying in the thing. And he played for the Eagles, of course, so it's very special for him. And he's just the best guy. And say a prayer for him. A lot of his family is affected by that volcano back in Tonga. So so he's dealing with that right now. So but he's doing okay. So yeah, that was a great memory.
What would you say, like, who was your favorite Eagle that you met? Like, because being in the media, obviously you have that access to all these athletes, like, or maybe even over the years, like, who's one of your favorite Eagles players that you've ever met, that you've ever talked to, like, even from the Super Bowl or just in general? Yeah,
Kelsey's great. T.O. was always entertaining. I asked T.O. a question at his first introductory press conference, and the PR guy's like, don't ask the question. Don't ask the question. I go, hey, are you going to bring your Sharpie with you? Because remember, he had gotten in trouble. He signed the ball. And everybody like kind of looked at me, like all like the real sports reporters like kind of looked at me like, oh, how could you ask that? And then T.O. looked at Andy, and Andy goes, no. And it was the soundbite that was used like all over the world. It was great. But Jason Kelsey's great. Chris Long was super great. You remember a couple years ago, the Eagles were supposed to go to the White House, and then they didn't go to the White House. And they threw like an Eagles rally out on the Rose Garden of the White House. And I tweeted that, like, I went up to like 6 people. None of them even knew who the quarterback for the Eagles was in the Super Bowl. Like, one guy's like, I don't know, the redhead guy. I'm like, dude, you're not fans. Like, it was like completely like bogus. And I tweeted it, and it got like 64,000 likes within like 4 hours. And my phone was like a slot machine. But I saw Chris Long a couple days later, and he pulls me aside. He grabs me by the collar. He goes, dude, was that your tweet? That was amazing. So he's really great. Brian Westbrook was always awesome to deal with. A lot of those guys like are really good. And the ones that aren't good to deal with, you generally never even ended up talking to. Oh, you know who's great now is Jordan Mailata is awesome.
I love him.
He's the best. Like, he's like super down to earth, and talk about a guy that appreciates everything that's come his way, man. I mean, he's great, and he's talented. He can play the ukulele. I mean, he's an all around good dude. I like him.
My favorite picture of all time is him at the 50-yard line after we lost to the Giants this year, with him and Jalen Hurts, like him crying, like he actually like cares for the team, cares for the individual.
Oh yeah, no, he's in. He cares for his teammates and stuff. Anything with Brian Dawkins too. Brian Dawkins is great. There's pictures up there. I've like signed pictures of me and Dawkins. I emceed an event for Habitat for Humanity a couple years ago, and he was the guest speaker, and he couldn't have been any better. And in fact, they didn't ask him to do this. He goes, let's go see one of the Habitat houses. I mean, he could have gone right home. He brought clothes with him, and he helped at a Habitat house.
Oh wow!
No one asked him to. He just went there and he starts hammering. I'm like, dude, that seems like working on a house. And that's the kind of guy he is. He's another really, really good person. I really like Brian.
Yeah, you brought up Mailata earlier, and I think you brought up his versatility, except with the ukulele and the athlete. But one of our go offensive linemen. I mean, this is a good debate. You'll be able to chop it up with us because this is tough. I mean, this is we've done the QB, we've done the wide receiver, we've done the running back, but this one is the toughest one yet because the Eagles have had so many great offensive linemen. So, Tim, kick it off first. I mean, which of these guys, or even not pictured, who's your GOAT, your greatest of all time offensive lineman for the Philadelphia Eagles?
I go Runyon. I just longevity. I mean, like I would go Runyon because he became a congressman too, which is kind of cool. Super nice guy. My wife's a huge Packers fan, so his son is now on the Packers, so she loves that. Super nice, super easy to talk to. Great lineman. He gave Michael Strahan hell for years, which is like the best thing ever. So yeah, I like him. Listen, Lane has got to be up there. I mean, Jason Peters frustrated us for the last couple of years, but Jason Peters is a Hall of Famer.
No doubt.
So who's 66? Who am I looking at?
Bill Berge. Bill Berge.
Berge.
No.
I thought he was a linebacker. What, am I screwing that up? Bill Berge actually lives in Chadds Ford. He was my football coach. I played 1 year of football at Brandywine Youth Club in Pennsylvania. I'm not kidding. And I was terrible. But Bill Berge was the assistant coach because his son Jake was our quarterback. Jake went on to play Major League Lacrosse. He didn't play for the Wings, but he played in that league.
Oh, wow.
He was an amazing lacrosse player, and his brother Josh was too. But Bill Berge was our assistant coach, nicest guy. His wife was the team mom. And Bill Berge, he did Monday Night Football games live from Stanley's Tavern in North Wilmington for like decades. I think he might still do it. And he is the nicest guy you'll ever meet. He is awesome. But yeah, I go Runyon. That's just my take. So who'd you guys say? Who'd you all say?
I'll go now. I honestly think Jason Kelsey. Because I mean, other two guys to the left, a little old for my for me when I was an Eagles fan, but Jason Kelsey is just an all-time player. Like he does a lot for the team, and like he hasn't missed many games since he's been on the Eagles. He really cares about the team, and he's a great player, and I love his audacity and his leadership. So I'm gonna go with Jason Kelsey.
I got to wear his Mummers costume for a story one time, the one that he wore, which is pretty awesome. I have a picture somewhere of me in that Mummers costume, which is great.
That is amazing. I got him as my GOAT. I'm with you, Jack. It's got to be Kelsey. Like you said earlier, Tim, Lane is up there. Lane's certainly up there. Sorry for putting Bill Berge on there. I don't know what I was thinking. For some reason, I always thought, like Jack said, I'm not even going to say
looks,
this to you guys to the left.
His number throws you off, too, because that's like a lineman kind
of number, that big-ass beard, everything. It throws me off. And then Chuck Benderek, too. Like, I think the versatility of him being able to play linebacker and center, I got to just speak on that. Like, that deserves so much respect. But at the end of the day, I can't be a fraud. I got to go with the guy I grew up watching, and that's Jason Kelsey. What do you got, Declan? Give us an outside opinion.
Jason Peters. You can't overlook Jason Peters, too. He was, like, maddening to watch for the last couple of years, but Jason Peters is amazing, too.
You're right. He does get a bad rap for the past few years, but think about it. For, 7 years, we didn't even think about left tackle, being an issue, you know? What do you got, Declan?
Well, call it bias, but I will never pick John Runyon just for the fact that you said Mr. Furlong. He gave Michael Strahan. I will never pick him. But no, even in all honesty, I mean, you have to pick Kelsey, I think, and maybe it's recency bias too, but I just think everything that he's meant to the franchise, like he is Mr. Philadelphia Eagle, I think, in my mind, at least for this modern generation. I don't think anybody embodies that team spirit like he does. And that moment in the parade just kind of cemented that legacy. He's such a leader. He's an incredible player. Sure, first ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt. So in my mind, if we're talking greatest Eagle of all time, and I know I say this every time we talk about it, but if you're saying greatest Eagle of all time, it has to be Jason Kelsey.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like Kelsey's probably my number one. And also because it is a coin flip because when we were texting earlier, the whole group of us, I was saying Runyon as well, because we were listening to all those guys, and I'm like Runyon, but it probably is honestly Kelsey. He's just his longevity and all that. Plus, he's a Seattle guy. I love Seattle as well, so we'll give him that too. Well, as the tiebreaker, But just all that. But another guy I think we might be overshadowing is the guy who came before Kelsey, Jamal Jackson. And I thought he was great for years. And it's unfortunate, you kind of forget about him because of how great Kelsey's been, since he took over.
Peppy, what about you?
Yeah, I got to go Kelsey too. Absolutely. I mean, I don't know his stats, but he's just an animal. He's athletic. He's always out blocking. He never gets hurt. For the most part, his shotgun snaps are always great. There was that one season where I feel like he was shotgunning it over Wentz's head like once a game. But besides that, it's got to be Kelsey. Also, just something I've noticed. They say all roads lead to Rome. Kind of seems like all roads lead to Tim, because Tim seems to know somebody from every story. It's kind of sick.
I get around.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like on the road all the time, and like, you know, I get to like whenever, and I'm a news reporter, but I get to do a lot of sports. Like whenever like sports is so big that it becomes news, I get to do it. Like James Harden, you know, like the day after I get back from the Super Bowl, that next day was James Harden introductory press conference, so I went to that. Yeah, especially like, you know, pre-COVID, like, you know, whenever the Eagles would bring in a new player, new coach, you know, I would just go. And I'm one of my good friends I work with, John Clark. You know, John Clark is great, but Airport Johnny, we call him, because he's got like some secret contact at the airport. Like he knows when guys are flying in. Like he'll get like he'll text us and go, "Hey, just so you know, like James Harden's coming in. He's going to be on a this kind of jet, blah, blah." It's like, how do you know that, man? Like who, and like, he would never tell us how he knows, but he always knows. So like, I always get to do like a lot of those stories too. So it really is fun. Like I never take for granted that like as a child of Philly sports that I get to go to do cool stuff and, you know, be in parades. And, you know, I've gotten to know Jay Wright a little bit. You know, no offense, Tommy, I know you're a St. Joe's guy, but like Jay is cool. Like, you know, like I stood next to Dr. J when they were knocking down the Spectrum. Like, I mean,
That's
like,
amazing.
I was like standing there like this. This is my face that I had on when I'm standing next to Dr. J. As everybody's watching at the Spectrum being like knocked down, I'm like this looking at Dr. J.
That's so cool.
And he had to think I was like some creep because he's like, you know, he's like, I know he's thinking like, dude, this kid just keeps staring at me, dude. Like, just watch the stupid building get knocked down. And then, but the cool thing is the first ball that swung into the Spectrum, if you remember, it did almost no damage. And like they did a big countdown, like 3, 2, and then they slammed the side of the Spectrum and it did nothing. And Dr. J just looked at me and he goes, "Well, that kind of sucked." Like, that's awesome.
That's so cool.
Another little side story about Dr. J. I went to Villanova basketball camp when I was in 7th grade, and Raleigh Massimino was the coach, and Jay Wright ran the camp, and he was scary as hell. He was a really scary guy. Like he was like a really like, we were all scared of Jay Wright, but we all broke up, and you had your team for the week, and all of a sudden we had a guest speaker at our team like meeting thing. So like there's like 8 guys, and I'm this like short, stocky little kid, and Dr. J is the speaker. His kid was on our team. His kid, who I think he's the kid that died actually, but Dr. J came out and he spoke to our team and he gave us like tips. You talk about self-conscious. I'm like this like 3-foot like kid from like the Birds, and Dr. J's trying to teach me a joke, and I just kept having this feeling he's like looking at me just disappointed, like, yeah, this guy's hopeless. But it was cool though. It was pretty cool.
My dad's entire family went to Villanova. My dad went to Villanova, huge Villanova basketball family. And we go to Ocean City, New Jersey every year. And one year, my dad and I illegally got this sailboat, this Hobie Cat, onto the beach. And we took it out in the morning. And then at night, or in the evening, like we're going to put it in the water. And I'm like getting the sail ready. And this person comes up from the beach after surfing. And I looked to my dad. I said, "Dad, that's Jay Wright. Like just out in the open surfing." And my dad goes, "Yo, it's Jay Wright. He's like class of 88." And Jay Wright comes up to us, talks to us for like 20 minutes, the coolest guy. And then at the end, he's like, "Are you guys going out on this boat? Because it's real choppy and it's like a really small boat." And we're like, "Yeah, Jay Wright. Like, you want to come?" He's like, "No, I'm okay. Thanks, though." That's cool. It's like the coolest thing that ever happened in my life.
The coolest though is that you keep calling him Jay Wright even on like second reference. Like, yeah, that's right, Jay Wright.
Yeah, it was so cool. I was
You're right,
genuinely
Dave
the only
Cam, like
time
on the
I've ever been
Goldbergs.
starstruck. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's how I would be if I met a pretty cool coach. Like if I met Andy Reid, I don't think I'd call him coach because I don't play for him, but I don't think I would call him like Andy because I don't know him. So I'm like, all right, Andy Reid, like let's talk. So I gotta.
Yeah.
It would
We
be
were
weird
walking
though.
to the
Jay
Phillies
Wright's
game.
probably sitting there like that always happens to him though. Like
Yeah,
You
no,
know
it
what
was
I mean?
super. I didn't have a shirt. I had a light jacket on. Like I was like
Woo!
mid,
Yeah.
But I was like,
So-
you're right.
Tim, you do a lot of Philly sports, right?
Yeah.
What has the vibe been in Philadelphia with James Harden coming through?
I was talking to people today. It's funny. I don't think people are quite as passionate about Philly sports as they used to be. Like, I think like 15 years ago, it was like everybody on every street had like a jersey of some sort on and stuff. I think like fantasy sports has kind of ruined that a little bit. I think, because people follow players instead of teams, like, it's not just about your team, it's about your players. So I think that's part of it. But the vibe is definitely anybody but Ben. And but I think they also just like, I think some people are skeptical because everywhere he's gone, it doesn't always end well. This is his third team in 14 months, but I think like if he gets into a good fit and we get like 2 good years out of him and hopefully a ring, then it was worth it. I think he was in Houston for 8 years too or something, right? So he's not a bad guy, I don't think.
Yeah.
So I think people are just excited that we have a star player who's not completely allergic to shooting a basketball.
Yeah. That's true.
That got frustrating. That playoff series last against the Hawks is just, maddening. And we all have our feelings on Ben. I'm not gonna, maybe he does have some mental health issues, which I hope he gets help with. But whether that's true or not, it was just frustrating to watch him underperform. He's such an athlete. So to see Harden, I was watching the first half of this game tonight. Like against the Knicks, and you're like, dude, like this guy he takes it to the hole. He's not afraid to get fouled. He'll hit it from outside. He'll hit it from inside. And the space that he has created for Joe is just amazing. Like Joel has so much room. Like Joel even said the other day, he's like, I look around, there's like nobody near me because they're all watching James Harden, which is for Joe. That could add like 2 years to Joe's career just because he's not taking a beating all the time.
We got some good news. Sixers are winning 81-77. Let's go.
They're up
84
84
now.
to 77 on my
84.
screen.
They
So
just hit a three.
they just hit a 3. But real quick,
As
guys,
you were
I want to
saying.
just give a quick round of applause and a thank you, gentlemen, to Mr. Tim Furlong for coming through tonight. Class of 92,
pleasure.
you said, right?
Holla.
Oh,
Yeah, Tim, and it's like kind of crazy. Like I kind of look up to you as like a role model and like a famous person. So it's cool to have you on our show.
You have a very low standard for celebrity.
Yeah, but you're very well known in media,
Thanks.
so it's cool to have you on the show.
I appreciate it. I'm very proud to represent the Sally's Brotherhood, and it's I'm proud of to have a kid that went to Sally's and stuff, and I'm proud to know you guys and have me back on, man. This is fun.
Yeah,
I really
please
like
come
it.
back on. Even bring back your
Please.
son one night. The two of you guys can come on for a full show and chop it up with us. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I love it. Thanks so much for having me, guys. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks.
Great.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
so
you,
much,
Tim.
Tim.
Have a great
Thank
night. Go
you.
Sixers.
Right
Have
on.
a good one. Go. Guys, let me
I
just
love that
say that is amazing that we had him on here.
That guy's a
That
baller.
This guy who we watch on national news was on our show tonight. Very down to earth guy, and it's really awesome to have him on the show. So that was really
Yeah, I don't want to brag. I've been to his house before, but it's really
All
not a
right.
big deal, guys.
I have,
It's
I
really
have a
not a big
question-
deal.
I have a question / confession. I unfortunately only get Baltimore news channels, and I have my entire life. Does he actually go on TV like for Philly?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, NBC
All
10.
the time.
Dude.
Yeah.
He does like show like shorts. Like he actually interviewed Evan Gatt in Newark at the barbershop. Like beginning of the season for the Eagles. He interviewed Evan Gatt.
He was on the show chopping it up with the homies. What a
Yeah,
guy.
dude, he's
What a guy.
awesome.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's sick.
Back to the topic. Is James Harden the answer?
I think he might be.
I
Okay,
said
look.
Josh, not Tommy Pickles.
Sorry.
Is he the answer? I don't know. I feel like either way, Tim kind of alluded to it. Either way, this is going to end bad. Like, even if we win a championship, then we don't resign. Like, people are gonna bitch either way. Here's what I'm gonna say: if we win a championship, yes, he's the answer. Like if we win in June and then in the summer he goes somewhere else, people on Twitter are gonna be like, "Oh my god, we should have re-signed him." Daryl Morey, what do you like? Who cares? Like if we win a championship, he's the answer. So yes.
I was talking to Jake Arrow tonight at the bar,
Jesus.
and I was like, it's really weird seeing James Harden in a Philadelphia 76ers
It's so
uniform.
weird.
It is
Like-
weird.
Yeah, it takes you.
I would never expect that.
Adjust.
Yeah.
So-
What do you think, Jack?
I honestly think he is. He's a good player. He's hopefully if he wins the chip, then yeah, he's the answer. And I like the addition also of Paul Millsap. I'm not sure when his 10-day
What?
contract's up.
Well, yeah, you're the first freaking person I've ever heard
Why?
say that.
Why?
Millsap
Because
was
he's a good backup to
Been in the
Joel.
league since like 2008, and I didn't even know he existed until this year.
Dude,
Oh,
he
you
was a
didn't?
beast.
No, he was.
Oh wait, no, he's been good. He just
No,
hasn't
yeah,
been
no,
in the
he
past.
was
He
couple
was a
years.
beast when he played for the Hawks. Like, he's a good.
That's him.
That was also 80
Joel.
years ago.
Who else do you think compliments Joel better than him?
DeAndre
Andre
Jordan.
Drummond.
We got rid of him.
AD, I'm with Declan.
I'm still Dwight Howard all the way. Dwight Howard. Gets
No
big.
way.
Oh,
Dwight
Come
Howard,
on.
the only problem is it's because of his reputation, he draws too many
Fouls.
technicals.
yeah. Well, that's fine. I mean,
And that's
like,
what hurt us last year. The
No, that's
Hawks could
not.
just
That's not
chip
what hurt
away.
us, Tom. We had a point guard who didn't shoot and
Well, that
did not
too.
make a foul shot.
Our coach
But-
too.
You can have more than
Yeah.
one issue, Josh. I am a more than one issue person.
I'm not.
My God. I
I
like
like
my
to
chicken
center
wings.
in on
but
one
they
thing.
have to be cooked all the way, and they have to have the right sauce for them to be perfect. Okay, Josh?
All right.
Let me ask this.
Is he the answer, Tom? Is he the
But-
answer?
Yes. Long story short, yes, he is the answer, I think. Have
Yeah,
you
he's
not
gotta
seen
be.
the spacing anyone gets? All of a sudden, you just need Joel underneath. You need one person underneath, and then everyone else can shoot a three. You just need somebody competent. Maxey's all of a sudden scoring 25 points a game. You got Niang all of a sudden can hit corner threes nonstop because no one's around them. They're wide open, like he was saying, like Joel, like Tim alluded to. Noel's wide open. Niang's wide open, and whoever else you put out there, where it's Toby or Danny Green, is wide open to shoot
Yeah.
a three. Whether they can actually make a shot, Toby or Danny Green's another story. But yeah,
No, and that's true. Like he alluded to it well. Like everyone's watching James Harden, and then we have these outlet passes to hit corner threes. So
Sixers expert. You probably know the most out of all of us about the Sixers. What do you think about this? You've been quiet over there.
It's so hard to tell, man. I mean, look, they've only played the Knicks twice and the Wolves. So, and granted, the Wolves has had a really good year this year, but it's not the competition that you want to test yourself up against. So it'll be interesting. I mean, in my mind, there are two like huge issues, and that's going to be shooting and depth. Shooting, I think will figure itself out. I think Harden more than makes up for the shooting you lost with Curry, but it's going to come down to, can Danny Green step up? Can Korkmaz hit shots when he has to? Things like that. Can Niang play consistently? And then depth, I mean, they haven't really played Cauley Stein, so I guess they don't see him as an option, but you got to have somebody that can back up Joel down the stretch so he isn't gassed every other day. Like, that's what it's going to boil down to. If they can find, if Millsap can be that guy, God bless him. If Reed and Bassey can too, even better. But I think this team can make a run. I think they're built for it. They have problems to overcome, but if there is any squad that's going to do it, it's this team.
I feel
Yeah.
like the Sixers have had the same issues like the past 6 years. It's like, oh, can they shoot? How good is their bench? Can somebody back up Embiid to give him a break? It's always those three issues, just time after time.
And coaching too. Can they figure out rotations? And it seems like Doc is at least trying rotations, which is the first time I think since he's been a Sixer coach that he's broken up the stars, where he's now playing Harden and Harris together, which I think is good. So if they can, stagnate that too, so that it's not like all the starters are in and then the bench comes in and then they go down so however many points, and then they have to come back when the starters come back in. It's all these things that like a normal basketball team would do. If they can figure that out, they'll be golden.
I agree.
Yeah.
I bet Doc Rivers loves 6 white guys talking about how to coach a basketball team.
Oh my God, Josh.
Dude, before we get to the next topic, who the hell is this Ren guy that we just got from who was it? The Bengals? The D end?
Oh yeah, I don't know who that guy. I think he's just a body.
Yeah.
I guess. Well, whatever.
Hey man, talent is talent. Hopefully that'll be okay.
I guess, hopefully.
Hopefully he turns out better than Ryan Kerrigan.
Hey, shut up. Shut up.
Do we have a next topic? Because I got a question for you.
All right.
Shoot it.
Yeah, we do. I mean, if you guys want to.
Oh no, go for it then.
Okay. Stay or go?
Ooh.
Declan, what do you got?
Dickerson, stay. Dillard, I don't
Dillard
know.
could go.
I mean, I thought he was a good pickup when we drafted him, but then he hasn't really done much when he's played. And then Samalu, I mean,
Don't talk about my boy.
we need to have
he's gotta
depth.
stay.
So I'm not sure who's the guy in the end, the far right.
He's
It's
Halo
Nate
boy.
Nate Herbie.
That's Herbig, and then
and Jack
Driscoll's the
Driscoll.
one in 63.
Yeah.
I think
I think-
Driscoll stays.
I think you keep all of them, but Dillard.
Yeah, I think
That's
Dillard's
fine.
going to have the highest trade value.
Because
Do you
he's not
think he'll be
bad.
able
It's
to move
just
him, though?
we have Mylata.
Yeah, Dillard's just so raw still. Like, you can refine his skills.
Yeah.
I don't think Dillard's as bad as everybody thinks he is. I just think you can
I just
trade him
think-
now and still get a high value.
Yeah, I agree with you, 100%.
I think that they
Dickerson.
need to. I think that honestly they might need to keep Dillard. I'll be the first person to say it. And I read an article that basically said that they kept him and it was made sense last year because they needed depth there. And honestly, it did because he came in late in the year and I feel like he kind of played that. You're always going to have injuries on the offensive line is what I think I've realized in the NFL modern day. So having a guy that can kind of be like a, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a flex, like
A
go anywhere where you
utility.
need him.
A Swiss Army knife.
A Swiss Army knife. You got it, Zep. So I'm
Yeah.
going to say actually keep Dillard, but I'm going to let Driscoll go.
Ooh.
And I'm probably going to let Herbig go because they have depth. And I'm not going to be shocked if they draft somebody this year and just kind of roll the dice again.
Well, I think it also depends on how healthy Sayamalu is because he's coming off an injury, and it depends on whether Kelsey retires or not.
Yeah.
Because if Kelsey retires, then Dickerson sliding into that starting center role, and then so you basically lose a guard, and you just lost Brandon Brooks. Not that he's played in the last 3 years. So either way, Jeff Statlin's our best coach. So whoever he has, he will coach them up to perfection. I have much faith in that.
Well, and it can't hurt to have more offensive linemen than not. You
Yeah,
know?
no,
I mean,
definitely
depth
not.
is always
Absolutely.
key, especially there. So,
What do you think, Tom?
Pretty much what Josh thinks. Like, I'm keeping all those guys. I like Driscoll. I like Herbig. I like Samalu. I like Landon Dick. I especially like Landon Dickerson because we drafted him. He was a center out of Alabama, if you remember, and we've used him more of like in a guard role just because of injuries last year. But I think he's going to be our center after Kelsey's gone. Like,
Yeah.
I think that was the mindset of we have this really talented offensive lineman in this draft. We don't know what Kelsey's doing. Let's draft him. And worst comes to worst, he backs up Kelsey for what, a season or two? Big whoop, you know? We might have our long-term solution at least locked up already. So, and he's not bad off like as a guard either. Like, he played well as a guard too last year when he wasn't.
True.
So you definitely keep him. Dillard trade, like Zep said, he's not bad. Like, I'm not saying he's bad. He definitely needs to be coached up more. But how, like, Mylata is just a freak of nature. Like, size, athleticism, athleticism for that size. Like, there's almost no competing with that, and so you keep him. Samalu's just been solid whenever he's there. It's a matter of him staying healthy. Driscoll, he was solid last year. It wasn't anything special, but he was all that you could ask for and more out of someone. And same with Nate Herbig. Not special, but that's what you ask for and more. Once again,
I agree.
Dude, Josh, you didn't put any in the comments up that we're having from the show. Come on now.
We haven't. I don't think we've had any. I don't have any on my.
We got a
We
couple.
got Bergner.
Trey Thomas.
Trey
That's all.
Thomas was a
earlier.
good one. I had him on my list as well.
What's up, Hunter? How you doing, brother? Thanks for coming through. I appreciate your support, man. Anybody else got anything that they want to say about the offensive line? Did everybody go?
No.
All right, cool. Let's move it on. The next topic I got for you guys is actually something kind of interesting. I can't really see it. I'm going freaking blind. Oh, yeah. It's our main event topic of the night, guys. DK Metcalf. All
Fuck
right.
him.
How do you say that, Josh? Take it away.
What? No, we don't want him. We don't want him.
Thank you,
No.
Josh.
We don't want him. He's fine. Like, he's good. He's a good player. He's athletic. He's strong. Yada yada. Whatever. What we would give up to get him is
Number
not.
19 overall. Would you do it?
Would I give up number 19 overall to get him?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Absolutely. But in no world is that all we're giving up to get DK. That's a pipe dream. Absolutely not. Also, I hate to be that guy, but like adding another receiver is not going to make this team go from what it is now to being elite.
Yeah.
In my opinion, receiver and linebacker are the most expendable positions in all
And running
of-
back anymore.
Yeah, running back too. Running back, receiver, linebacker. So no, I would not do this. I don't want this to happen.
I'm with you, Josh.
I don't know.
Why so,
I
Tom?
mean,
Why so?
All right, go ahead, Jack. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
no,
Jack.
I mean, I wish we had this pick already on our team. We kind of folded on that.
Yeah, that's enough. We could
what was
have.
that?
Yeah,
True.
true.
We could have had him.
Yeah, I know. We could have had him.
Said that
I don't know if I
before,
would
right?
give him up for the 19th overall pick. There's a lot of building blocks we need for the Eagles for next season. Our offense is pretty solid. We need somebody to complement Smith, whether that be Chris Godwin or draft somebody. But I honestly think, to get DK Metcalf, it's going to be super expensive. He's a very good receiver, and he's not going to come cheap. So I wouldn't do that. I would.
What if you could only give up 19 overall, Jack? Would you do that?
Yeah, if we could just give her 19 overall, I would do that. But the money is the issue because I think he's going to ask for a lot of money. So
Yeah,
What's
I'll
that
take
thing?
it next. I think
Right,
that
go ahead,
honestly, he's gonna it's worth it for number 19 overall, but honestly, like if they say like give us Quez Watkins or something, would you guys still do that? Because I'm like in
Fuck
this boat
no.
of where I'm like, no, because we need that deep threat that Quez has developed into. Like the reason I want DK is he's physical as shit. Like that's what we need. We need
Well,
a
he's a deep
50-50
threat as
ball,
well.
go up and get it. But like if I could give up only 19, I'd do it. I want to give up 15 or 16. And it would be huge for Jalen Hurts. But that's what I got to say. What do you got, Tom?
I think from what you just said, like he is a deep threat. Like Russell Wilson uses him as a deep threat. So giving up, would I give up Quez? Sure. Would I give up a 19th? Sure. But I think these are all like best case like scenarios if the Seahawks were out of their mind and just wanted to trade away just for shits and giggles. It's like they're not doing that trade at all. Maybe Howie Roseman might, but that's because he's a snake. But that's besides.
Tommy, I thought Harry Rose was your best friend. I thought you loved him.
Yeah, right. I think it'd be better if the Eagles went out and just got Calvin Ridley because I didn't realize how bad of cap space the Falcons were in. They're over the cap to start.
The
So,
NFC
like-
South is going to be so bad.
Yeah, a bunch of them are in cap space trouble.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
They all are. So like, and Calvin Ridley's an $11 million hit to the cap.
Yeah, he's
So,
gone.
and
For
he doesn't
sure.
want to. And he doesn't want to work with the Falcons because the Falcons haven't disclosed it and he hasn't disclosed it, but there was like some off the field like disgruntlement between them. So he doesn't want to work with them either. But I bet you he'd work with Howie to restructure if he was in a happy situation, like with Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith, who he's played with before and he likes.
Oh yeah, everybody who comes to Philly and plays professional sports has great mental health.
Well,
What do you think, Jack?
Yeah. Yeah, Declan.
Oh, okay. I mean, I don't have much to say, to be honest. Let's be honest. Like, if there's somebody you're targeting on the Seahawks right now to bring to Philly, is it really going to be DK Metcalf?
Russell Westbrook? No, I'm just kidding.
Wilson, not Westbrook. Westbrook plays basketball.
But I mean,
Wow.
I was thinking Wilson. I mean, you almost had it.
He almost did.
You were almost there. But I don't know. I just think there's too much. There's already like talent at the wide receiver position, like, and it's a better draft class for wide receivers and quarterbacks. So why would you focus your attention on him rather than if you were actually looking to go get somebody, get Russell Wilson? I don't think they should, but this doesn't make sense. I mean, if they give it, I don't even think you take him if they give the pick like 1-for-1. I just think, just don't do it. He'll be a free agent soon enough. Get him then.
I will say the best part of Tom, you saying that is it was delayed. I'm watching live on my phone, and Zep saying Russell Westbrook. Come on, Zep. Come on, Zep. Do better.
Remember last week, Jack, when he said hit that intro for the outro? That was funny though, Zep. I got to give you credit.
But Zep, I'll give you credit. You had to work your butt off for like 12 plus hours today.
Thank you, Tom. Somebody gets
You're
it.
welcome.
I don't get it. Suck it up, Buttercup.
Me and Jack busting your balls.
Jack,
You get to
please.
take this topic first.
Who gets to take it? Me?
Yeah, you got it first, bud.
All right. 100%. I don't know much about this kid. I don't know much about the draft. It's not like NFL draft season for me yet. I know the combines this week. That being said, yes, let's take him. We have 3 goddamn first-round picks. This guy looks legit. He's big, he's fast, he's athletic, he's got the stats to back it up. Cincinnati's defense was by far their strong suit this season. I think this is a home run hit.
Yeah.
But what about Nakobe Dean?
I want him too.
We
We
can
got
probably
3
get
picks.
both. That's what I'm saying. Like what? Like this isn't one pick. Like I
We
mean,
have
if you
a-
could
we
add
have a-
this guy with him.
So
we have a 10th of the first-round picks. We have
Yeah,
10% of them.
in my perfect world, I would go with Nakobe Dean first, and if this guy's still around, go with him.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah, but like, would you take this guy say then at like 16, like right after him?
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
What do you like about him?
I mean, I don't really know much about him, but his stats tell you: 28 solo tackles, 3 interceptions, 3 sacks. So like 1 forced fumble. It's something that we need. And whether or not we get rid of what's our boy Singleton, I think it'd be a good fit. And I honestly think, and I'm going to stay on it, that what we need to fill is our defense. Our offense needs some parts, but right now our defense is D-line, cornerbacks, free safeties. We need all that this draft.
So this guy's a corner, just so you know, too. So it would be a corner number 2 because I think he does play like a linebacker though, is what I like because when you look at it, like Jack made a good point. Like this guy can hit. Like if you're telling me a cornerback's getting 1 forced fumble and 3 sacks in 13 fucking games, that's absurd. Like what corner do you know that does that? Like I can't think of one off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Last defensive back would be who? Dawkins, Jack?
Yeah. That was at Philly. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Also, Joel, tell me what stats missing from up here. It's because he didn't give any up.
Oh, yes, Tom. Great point. Talk about that.
No touchdowns over those 13 games. Unlike the guy that they praise in Dallas, Diggs, that was a touchdown giving up machine, a machine in Dallas. Well, that they praise as the greatest defensive corner in the league, Mr. Defensive Player of the Year behind Micah Parsons, Mr. Corner, Mr. Defensive Back. But he gave up the most yards, the most touchdowns. But damn it, you know what? Those 6 interceptions, 7 interceptions he got, yeah, that's great. But you know what?
Oh, shit. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you out. I was trying to do the
when he has
other
28
That
touchdowns.
was probably needed.
No, keep
No,
going.
it wasn't. He was going on a tangent. I liked
Keep
it.
going.
Yeah. But
But
what
yeah,
you
good
call it?
point. Like,
This guy's
a beast. No tutties.
yeah.
Declan, what do you think about this kid?
Yeah, man, he's unbelievable. I mean, he was locked down all year. He was part of the reason Cincinnati looked as good as they did. But do you really want to target DBs if you're the Eagles? I mean, obviously, like, it doesn't hurt to have more, but linebackers are just so important. It's the same thing with Kyle Hamilton. Like, pick him if he's there, right? Obviously, like, get the best player available. Sam Hinkie, shout out. But
We died for our sins. The process worked.
he absolutely did. But like, I think you think twice before getting this guy, and not even like that he's not worth it or anything, but I think you just got to take a step back and like look at who you already picked by then. And but with that being said, I mean, how could you be mad at Howie if this is who comes to the Eagles? Like, you absolutely can't. He's going to be a stud wherever he goes, and I would definitely take a flyer on him.
Yeah, that's a great point. A flyer is a great point. Like, you have 3 first-round picks. Hypothetically, one of these guys is going to hit to be a generational player or the next generational player for the Eagles. So we'll see what happens, but it should be fun.
You know what I would do in the draft? I would just take 2 quarterbacks back to back.
Oh yeah, why?
I mean, it's a win-win situation. So, no, hear me out. So you take 2 quarterbacks. One of them will be good, and if not, you still have Jalen Hurts. But then think of the draft capital you could trade for them. Like, teams are going to lose their minds.
So you're telling
Josh,
me,
are you okay?
Josh, there's
Yeah.
shitty quarterbacks in this draft. The only good one is Pickett, Kenny Pickett.
I agree that it's only Kenny Pickett. That's fine. Other teams will need quarterbacks.
But what about if Corral? This is something I wanted to talk about with you guys too. I don't know if you guys saw, but Matt Corral got injured in the Senior Bowl. What if hypothetically he drops to the 2nd or 3rd round? I don't know if he will.
He won't.
What if hypothetically he ends up dropping like Jalen Hurts did, and then you just take like a backup, like, you know what I mean? And like,
No.
if Hurts doesn't pan out,
We are a quarterback factory. We will take any quarterback that is there.
I mean, I just want a franchise quarterback at this point. Is that too much to ask for?
Yes.
That's how all Philly fans feel right now.
Nice.
Is this your
We
guy
had
though?
one with Carson and how he ruined him because he's a snake.
We had
Nope.
one with McNabb. You just don't want to admit it to yourself.
We did. Seriously, like,
We
Philly
had him
sports
Nick
fans-
Foles.
I don't want
Philly
to drunk
sports
if
fans
my
are painted
franchise
like-
quarterback.
Philly sports fans are painted in like we're very like angry people, but like seriously,
We are.
we want the simplest things. We want a point guard that can shoot and a franchise quarterback. Like, that is all we ask for. Very simple things.
And a good hockey player too.
We
Yeah.
have that with
Well-
Claude Giroux.
Maybe
And
just some
Comcast to
mascots
sell
for
the
scared
team,
little
but we
kids.
can't get everything.
I mean,
I know, Comcast
he
stuff
did
needs
improve
to
on his picks too. Like, hypothetically, Jack, you
Okay,
don't
I-
3rd round.
I just noticed that, yes. But if you look at it, 2020 had more touchdowns than he did in 2021.
He was
But
slinging
yes,
it.
more games.
A big thing is the interceptions, turnovers. I think that's a big stat. The fact that he improved from a year throwing 19 and now throwing 5. But in reality, what good quarterback has came from Ole Miss other than
Whoa! Hey! Whoa!
Hey,
Whoa.
Eli Manning.
Whoa! The greatest quarterback of all time went to Ole Miss. Let's not get it twisted here, gentlemen. Let's not get it twisted here. But
about
my
that?
point is, this guy played nobody. They lost their best game was Baylor, and they scored 7 points against Baylor.
So what? Nick Foles played against nobody, and he won Super Bowl MVP. What's your point?
I knew Tom was going to bring Nick Foles.
But Nick Foles wasn't. Nick Foles. I don't understand your point here. I'm saying he's not performing against like fantastic talent. You know what I mean? Like it's Liberty. He hung 27 on Liberty. He put 29 up on Texas A&M. To me, like there are so many other holes that need to be filled, like on this team, and quarterback is not one of them right now. That can't be the focus.
Ooh.
I told you guys, there's a reason that I want to stay on topic. Your boys always got your back. And you guys said you wanted to do less football talk, more bullshit. So the last 5 minutes of the show, I'm going to start trying to do these questions in the off season, at least, where we can do bullshit like this. So you guys can get to know that sweet face on your screen right there, Jack Jordan, a little bit better. But fellas, each of us, you got 1 minute to debate it. We'll go top to bottom. I'll just let Zepp go first because I can see his answers already in his head. But one has to go. What is it and why? Josh, was that hit it?
I'm sorry, I got to be that guy. I have a question. Are we drinking these straight, or are we mixing the liquor with it? Are we doing
you can do whatever you want, sicko. If you drink, that's great. I mean, I'm saying straight. Like this is just soda. Like you're drinking it with lunch.
All right, if I'm just drinking this with lunch, Sprite, it tastes like horse piss. It's just not good.
Oh,
is that it? Do you have anything else to say?
Yeah, Mug and Fanta are amazing, and Coca-Cola's whatever. It's classic. Sprite's not good, and the LeBron James commercials piss me off with it.
All right, cool. I'm gonna hit it.
Dawn's Coke.
Commercials are the best part about Christmas. Josh.
Dawn's
I don't know
Coke.
what you're talking about.
Dawn's Coke.
No way.
Coke. I'm going Mug root beer. Jack, I think
No.
you know. I want to try to guess for Jack too after this, but Sprite is amazing. LeBron Sprite Cranberry is the best part about Christmas time, in my opinion. How dare you say that Sprite tastes like horse piss? Sprite is the best thing ever. I love Sprite. Beer is great, but you hit the nail on the head. Fanta, the Italian drink, it's from Italy. It's amazing. I'm sure Salute will love it, but I got Fanta going, or I got Mug going. What do you got, Jack?
I'll go, and then Dawn, guess first, and then I have one answer, and then I have an outside viewer who wants to give him a shout out.
Is yours going to be Coke?
Fuck no.
Oh, wow. Okay. What is it? Go ahead.
So I'm going to go with Sprite. And like our fellow friend, Brandon Looney, the best Sprite is from McDonald's. Looney told me to shout you out, gave you a shout out. Sprite, McDonald's. But if I were just sitting at home, not at McDonald's, I'll probably go with root beer, Mug root beer. So that's me.
All right. What do you got, Declan?
Dude, this is such a hard question because if it's one-on-one, that completely changes my answer. If it's not, if it's just versatility, usage, like what I'm going to do with that soda, like how I'm going to consume it, it has to be Fanta. I would get rid of that in a heartbeat, I think. But if we're just going one-on-one straight up, what soda would I not drink out of these four? I hate to agree with Josh on this one, but Sprite's got to go, man. It's got to go. It's just not the same.
What? Why do you guys all hate Sprite so much?
Let me.
It's not that I hate Sprite. It's not because, like I said, if it wasn't just one-on-one straight up, like which soda would I get rid of? It's Sprite. But if it's like you can put Sprite in so many other things and it's incredible, but just one-on-one by itself, get it out of here.
Agreed. Also, I don't like. Does anybody here like drink that much soda? Like, I don't drink.
Not
soda.
really.
Dawn does.
Yeah, I have like a soda with every lunch every day.
Just for the viewers to understand, I know it wasn't clear. I love Sprite, especially McDonald's, but the one that I would kick out is Fanta. Fanta just tastes too sugary for me.
It's so
has like that build up on your teeth. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you haven't brushed teeth for like, you know what I mean? Immediately. So Fanta has to go. Sprite is my number one, 100% with anything. It's a good mixer with any kind of drink.
That's not the debate.
Huh?
One year up.
What?
Salute.
I'm with everyone else. Sprite's out.
Has to be.
Has to be.
Let's go.
Okay,
Now, if we
if
mix
I'm
it with
mixing it-
alcohol, Sprite Stang.
The only thing, the only reason why maybe if we're talking just versatility of stuff I could do, I'll do Coke or my God, I want Coke or mug, to mix it to for a root beer float type of thing, or even Coke for a rum and Coke, or
Okay,
if we're
Tom.
mixing it, then that's fine, but then Fanta's out if we're mixing it. But here's a hot take. If I had to get rid of all these for one outside soda, be Dr. Pepper.
Okay, that's a hot take, but I think
don't
that's
mind
a
that.
fair take. Dr. Pepper slaps.
Also, best Dr. Pepper, Chick-fil-A Dr. Pepper.
Oh, I've never had Chick-fil-A Dr. Pepper.
kinda
I'm gonna
true.
write that down, but I'll try that. But all these gentlemen, I want to thank you guys for tonight. We got to wrap up. There's another show after us, but great show. Want to thank Tim Furlong for coming on. I want to thank everybody for welcoming us back to Facebook. As Jack pointed out earlier, I got banned for a little bit. Thanks to you Cowboys fans, but it is what it is. But we're hyped to be back, and we'll be back next Wednesday, guys. And I'm not going to get banned again because Jack is an admin on the Facebook page now. So look
I
out.
saved your
He'll be
ass. I
putting
saved
up
your ass.
statuses.
Boy.
Saved your ass, buddy.
My ass. Really, really not Jack saved me, but John saved
Yeah,
me.
my
But
bad.
on that, can we actually get John to give us the honors of an outro this week and
Yeah.
not fuck it up like
Yeah, I
his
was about to say, I'm
friend
not going to
did?
fuck it up like Zep did. So, Zep, it's called an outro, so not an intro. So, Dalton, can you please hit that outro?
Dick.